Uh, this is just gonna be a random video about me rambling about conversations that people tend to have about things that are great in the past and things now in the present that are not doing so well. Uh, you know, I'm gonna do this YouTube introduction because it's kind of YouTube law. But if you like the video, leave a like. If you fuck with the content, subscribe. If you want to leave a comment down below, please, by all means, leave the comment below, and I'll be sure to read it if there is any comments. But that being said, just sit back, relax, enjoy the video, or just enjoy me rambling about weird, wicked shit that I hear on the internet, basically. But yeah, there's always those conversations about just people saying like, "Yo, this movie was amazing," but compared to 1990 movies, it got nothing. These actors are great, but compared to like Samuel L. Jackson and all of them, they're not as like charismatic as them. Or my favorite topic to talk about, video games were amazing back then, but now them games are dog shit. And you sit there and you're like, wow, why is that? Is it because you were a kid back then, or was it because the games were actually really good, or whatever content was back then was just generally that good? I feel like the internet in some way, shape, or form kind of fucked everything up, if I'm speaking honestly. Because I feel that everything was such a rare capture to where you're not going to get an instant replay or instant YouTube upload to where you can see moments like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can imagine back in the days when a song came out of one of your favorite rappers, you had to tune into that radio, you had to buy that CD to buy it, or that record. You know? Cartoons, you miss an episode, you're damn near fucked until they decide to air it again. It was just one of those moments where it just made everything that high of value, you know? And since everything nowadays is just so accessible and convenient, it just makes those moments that little value. And since everyone, including myself, because I'm releasing this here in my opinion, since everyone has things they want to say, it can probably fuck up the next person's decision on whether or not he wants to watch something or pass on it. And people just don't have that rare independent moment that they used to have. Because you didn't look up a YouTube video to decide if this shit was good or not. You just watched it. You just enjoyed the ride. But there's other aspects into that too. You could argue people have gone lazy because they're getting more money, and that could be true too. You could argue that since technology advanced so much, it's hard to really replicate that of the past. I find that bullshit because if you have more things to work with, the things should be better. You know, Avatar. I think that movie came out 2009. Correct me if I'm wrong. With the blue aliens and shit. That movie was a jaw drop for me when I was a kid and I saw that shit. I was like, whoa. I was like, wow. I was like, wow, this movie's so fucking beautiful. And the more you see beautiful movies, you're like, wow, this shit is dope. But Avatar had the dope visuals and a compelling story to match. I think that's why that movie did so good. And now, especially when you see in trailers and shit, it's just a bunch of flashy shit with no good story context. It's like, you got one thing right, but the other thing is like, no, not really. Try again. But people, even myself, man, I always gotta come back to myself because that I can only say things that I disagree with. I don't know what the next person's opinion on certain shit is, but I often look back at the past because the past was such a great thing. Not saying World War II or slavery or any of that wicked shit was great, but I would say during the 1980s, going on to 2000s, were like prime year of entertainment. Kind of, if people will agree with me on that. And maybe you can even argue further back than that. But it's just games. Games were good. Movies were great. clothes. Clothes weren't like true religions and shit like that, but clothes weren't as expensive as it is today. One pair of pants cost like $60. With the way fucking, not to go into Corona, but the way Corona is with everything, people don't want to take the vaccine and shit. People want to take the vaccine, segregating the nation or the country. And then you're like, everything changed so much. What happened? Everything went from good to bad real quick. Not to say there was ever a point in time where the world wasn't like upside fucking down, because it was, but now it's just a weird feeling, you know? I'm going off topic. What was I saying? Yeah, it just, people always have that talk about, yo, shit back then was just amazing compared to shit back right now. It's just depressing, bro. Battlefield back then was way better than the Battlefield we have now, and that's just the honest truth of it. Call of Duty back then was just way better than the shit we have right now. Shit, you know what's funny too? In terms of movies also, like, you could argue the Daredevil movie and the Catwoman movies were dog shit, which they probably are, but you ever just sat back, was bored one night, and you're like, yo, let me just watch a 1980 movie about a dude trying to go to one place to another place, and it was just a fun ride to watch. Like, it wasn't action packed, every shit wasn't exploding, shit didn't have like smart. It was just a dude doing something basic to do one thing. Like a perfect movie, Harold and Kumar was just two stoneheads trying to go to fucking White Castle, and then the second movie they try to escape a prison. Like, shit was, the second movie was kind of OD, but the first movie, what really made it good was it was just two dudes trying to go to one place. You don't really see that in movies nowadays. For me, or what trailers I see, I don't really see that shit. I don't see that shit at all. And what was another movie that basically had that? Like, Pineapple Express with Seth Rogen and James Franco, I believe is his name. Another fun movie. Paul Blart, Mall Cop, Observe and Report. I'm naming a lot of movies with Seth Rogen in it because I thought he was funny during the time. Fast and the Furious 1 and 2. People didn't like 2, but I like 2. You still hit like a bitch. You still hit like a bitch. It's just like it. It was just so. It was more adventurous. It wasn't all about the big flashy shit and the great CGI. It was just like, yo, we just gotta shoot a movie about two dudes. One dude trying to lose his virginity. Like Superbad was about two dudes trying to impress some girls at a party. And it's like, movies that were just relatable. Movies that were just overall relatable. You're just like, damn, this shit is funny and you can understand it. Like the cops that was trying to follow Michael Cera and Jonah Hill, which was ironically Seth Rogen in it. I keep naming movies with him because I thought his movies again back then was funny. But he sat that dude down on the police car. He was like, yo, listen, like, I understand, like, back then I was a kid and I did stupid shit. We didn't really fuck with the cops, and it was just like, it was one of those moments I was like, yo, that's really, really fucking cool that you didn't grow up to be this asshole adult that just wanted to make your life a living hell because you applied to a job and the job is like, no, and not to move on to another topic on life lessons, but I think, just grow up with you having your inner kid again, There's nothing bad with you enjoying shit that you used to enjoy. Like, if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! or you collect Pokemon cards, by all means, collect that shit. Who the fuck cares about what anyone else thinks, Just do that shit. Because people that grow up that are, like, mad stuck up, mad miserable, mad this and that, I'm like, damn, what the fuck happened to you, And I moved on to a completely different point, but this is just me rambling on shit. It's real shit. You over here not embracing what makes life good. You just sitting here. You just sitting here like, damn. Like, I used to have mad fun. I used to have a lot of fun back when I was 10 years old. What the fuck changed now, other than the fact that you had to pay for bills? And I'm not gonna argue with you. Life does suck. Life does suck a lot. But you finding little enjoyment in life is what makes things, as corny as this shit sounds, just makes things that meaningful. If y'all ever seen a movie called Souls, I believe, is a Pixar movie. Like, this character, I forget the movie because I saw it last year, but this character did everything for this one moment. I recommend go watching that movie if anyone hasn't seen it. I believe it's called Souls, and it's a Pixar movie. It's on Disney. It's streaming on Disney Plus. So if you have the subscription, if you want to watch it, please go on there and watch that movie. That movie's amazing. And it's about this dude that literally wanted to do one thing in his life, one fucking thing. Was doing everything for this one moment, and he didn't get a chance to do it, but he realized all them shits that happened in his life, even him enjoying a burger, was so impactful that he was like, bro, I don't need to have this one thing that I worked so hard for. Like, I had great moments in my life to where that one thing ain't gonna overshadow all the moments I had. And it was just a beautiful thing, and I was like, damn, bro, that's deep. That shit was really deep. And I think that's why people, at the end of the day, if I'm going back to the main point, is why people connect so much back to their childhood. Because back then, or back when you were a kid, you didn't give a fuck about anything. You just generally want to have fun and do shit that you enjoyed. And when you grow up, when you quote unquote grow up, which I feel that being an adult is probably the most bullshit thing in the world. Because when you reach your mid-20s, or you're like 26, 27, everybody to you is just a big-ass baby that's 6 foot, basically. You're a big baby that knows how to pay bills and knows how to just drive around. That's it. Yeah, there's some smarter than others, but you can study for that shit and acquire the same information. So what I'm basically trying to say is, like, there's no point in you trying to pretend you're a higher hierarchy, than the next person. And depending on your occupation, you could be, but you're at the end of the day, we all the same shit. Why be an ass? You know? Like, if I was a boss at a job or some shit, and someone was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be here late," you can come in late. I don't give a fuck. We all get paid the same shit. Maybe if I'm a supervisor or not, but I'm not going to make your life miserable because my life is miserable. That's just being fucked up as a human being. Oh, I have to come in early. So if I come in early, you got to come in early, and I'm going to fuck your shit up if you're like, no, bro. I would want to make my life as easy as and smooth as possible, whether it's me or for the next person. That's what I want. Just my life to be smooth and easy like the next individual. If I was a boss, again, if he came in late, I'm not going to go down my employer or employee's work because he's late. I'll just be like, bro, I'd rather you be real with me. If you don't fucking like the job, well, you don't like the job. I'm not going to say, I probably won't like the job either, but I'm not going to be like, yo, you got to come in here, put on your white man. You got to come in here, do this and that. Bro, come in here, do the best that you can possibly do this day, and go home. If you late and you still bring forth the energy to finish your job, that's all I care about. And you're not stressing people the fuck out with your erotic or stupidity, do whatever the fuck you want. If I'm throwing in a backstory, right? I used to work for a restaurant. I live in New York, in Williamsburg, and I used to come there every day late, an hour late, right? And don't do this because my boss was really fucking chilled. I'm surprised, and I got fired on some stupid shit, which was on me, which I wanted to get fired on. But the point being was that I came to work an hour late all the time. But I guess the reason why he let me max so much, because me and him had a conversation, and I had a morning shift one day, and he was like, bro, when you're doing the afternoon shift, I don't give a fuck, because that's your time. That's money out your pocket. And he was really like, I'm not gonna fire you as long as you're doing your job. I can give a fuck how late you are. I mean, an hour late. He was really chill for that. And he was like, bro, I'll just fire you and find the next person. I'm not saying that. What I'm basically trying to say is, and with this whole story scenario, is that he didn't bark down my throat, and I was probably one of the best workers there, and I came in an hour late, and I did everything I was supposed to fucking do, and then some. But he let me mac on a lot of things because my character just showed that much, and I was such a easygoing person. I told him straight up, like, bro, like, I'm sorry I come in late, but that's just how I am. And you know, and I'm not a good worker. This ain't a good example, but this is like, I'm telling you, it's real shit. Like, don't go down people's throats, because you're just, at the end of the day, you don't know what their lives is. They don't know what your life is. Coming an hour late to work. And it's a 9-to-5 job that no one gives a fuck about, bro. You work at a restaurant. No one cares that you showing early with your... No, bro. Just do you. Do you the best way you can. And if you... Whoever's watching this, if you're in high school or you're a teen or whatever, hopefully if I get views, probably not, but I don't care. It's therapeutic for me. If you're a high schooler and you're about to graduate... Excuse me. If you're a high schooler and you're about to graduate and you're watching this video, by all means, please consider what you want your career to be. Oh, I'm not looking at the camera. What you want your career to be. Don't worry about your parents. Don't worry about your friends. Don't worry about whoever is an influence on your life. Worry about what you want to do with your career and with your life. Because a lot of people have opinions and shit they want to discuss with you, or they want to throw down your throat, and you personally cannot, you probably don't fuck with it. But just like, the most important thing, especially graduating high school, is being comfortable. And it's not even being comfortable, it's just loving yourself, you know? Because when you get out into quote unquote the real world, which is just paying for every little shit that you do, taking a train, taking a shorty out, going to the movies, it's just, you don't worry, your parents ain't gonna have your financial back anymore. You gotta do shit yourself. But just knowing how to love yourself and being comfortable with the skin that's on your body is the most important thing. And I wish we had people that weren't stuck up assholes that told kids this sooner, you know? Like, if I was a teacher, I would tell my students straight up, like, yo, bro, what we teach you in this school is not going to be, depending on what your occupation, depending on what your occupation is going to be in the future, what we teach you now is just general information that you're probably never going to use ever again. And that's real talk. That's real talk. Global studies, not to say I don't like the United States or whatever, but some of the shit that we study for, like, the only thing you need to know is how to write your own name, how to date documents, and how to fucking do math, and you good. And how to file your taxes and shit like that, and keep your credit score up, and you're fine. You're fine. Life is not that difficult. It's just you finding opportunities to where you're going to put yourself in that position to where you can have a smooth life. I think that's the most difficult part of it. But back when I was saying, like, if I was a teacher, I would just tell my students the real of it. Yo, guys, like, y'all all look at me like an adult, but I'm no different from y'all. I just go home and play the same games y'all do. Only thing is, I have to pay for the roof over my head. Y'all don't. Oh, and it used to baffle me when I was a kid, because it was like, oh, yo, don't speak to an adult like that, this, that. And I'm like, bro, you're no different from me. I always used to think that shit. I'm like, you're no different from me. It's just you pay shit. If I had a job at 16 and you have a job at 30, what makes us that different? You just been in this world longer. That's really it. We pay the same. Like, in all honesty, if I'm like 17, living on my own, paying for my car, paying for my shit, and this like a 40-year-old dude, it's like a 40-year-old dude talking, and he's like, yo, those speak to adults like that. I'm gonna tell you what's really the difference in an adult. You're just older. I'm doing the same shit you're doing at half my age or half your age. And it's like adult to me is overrated. I'm about to be 25 next month or 2 months from now. And I don't feel any different when I was 18. I feel the same shit. Just retain your kid. Because when you retain your kid, you're able to relate to a lot of shit these younger people are probably going to go through in their lives. And just tell them the real of it. Just be honest with people, you know? And, you know, I think that's it for me for now. But, like, if this video get views, like I said, other YouTube law introduction or outro, if you fuck with the video or you like the video, please leave a like. It greatly helps me in the algorithm. If you fuck with the content, please subscribe to the channel. And leave a comment if you want to leave a comment. But at the end of the day, please stay safe. Corona is still a thing. Don't believe in what the government tells you all the time. Mask up. Be good to your families. Also, most importantly, be good to yourself. And yeah, thank you for watching. Till next time.